Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Beyond the Sewing Room. I'm Diane. So I said I'd be back soon to show you how to make a little pouch, purse or makeup bag, depending on what you want to make. So I shared this in a previous video. It's really easy to make. So it's just two pieces and lining if you want. So I'm going to be using lining as well today. And you'll also need a zip. Now the zip doesn't have to be the exact size. So as long as it's longer, then it's fine. So I suggest you recycle one of something else, something that you're getting rid of if you can do this. It's always good to save all these bits. And I'm going to show you how to make it. So it's really easy. And to begin with, we're going to need some paper to make a template. So if you have one that's the correct size already, you can go around that, you can draw around it and leave a seam allowance. Now your seam allowance is your preference. You might wish to do a 1 centimetre seam allowance or a 1.5. So sometimes it's easier just to keep it at 1 centimetre, just to keep everything sort of neat, and it's just easier for your calculations really, I think. So do that first of all. I'm going to show you how I've done mine on a piece of paper here. Now if you're using lining, you want to cut your pieces out then in the main fabric and in the lining. And also we're going to be using some interfacing. So what we're going to need today is the fabric that you're going to be making your purse, pouch or makeup bag in. Now I would suggest using something quite stable, so use either a cotton or a cotton blend or maybe a linen. If you use something like a viscose chalet or something like that, they tend to stretch about a little bit when you're cutting out. They're a little bit softer and a little bit more floaty, so they haven't got as much body, and it will just make it more difficult for you. So use something that's a little more stable. You could use denim, cotton canvas, a twill, something like that. So if you're just practicing, maybe get something that you're going to take to the charity shop or you're going to get rid of and just practice on some recycled fabric that way. Then have a look round in your zip stash. If you're buying one, you'll need to buy one that is a little longer than the top. So when you've cut your template pieces, if you're going to buy one, you need to measure it and make sure that the zip you're buying is a little longer than that. And when you've done that, we're going to get started cutting out our pieces today. Now you can also add a little handle to this if you wish on the side, sort of a wrist strap. So you could use this when you're out and about if you want to keep it on your wrist, so that it, you've got it with you like a little clutch bag. You can use it that way. And you could also add an internal pocket if you wish, by just doing a double fold on some fabric and adding it on the inside to the lining. We're not going to be doing that today, we're just making a straightforward pouch. So let's get started and I'll show you what I've done with the measurements. So here is the little purse that I made the other day, and I've got a piece of A4 paper, so you could use any scrap paper to do this. I've placed it on. Now the finished size along the top of this particular one is 14 centimetres. Now when you're cutting out, you want to make allowances for your seam. So if you cut it out a little larger all the way around like this, and if we're going to curve the bottom, I only curve one at this point, leave the other one straight, because I'm going to fold the paper in half so that I get the curve the same on both sides. At the top, it's just to a point like this. So mine is 14 centimetres finished, so I've done it 16 centimetres, the line along the top. So you do a line along the bottom also, and down each side. Now for this particular one, the line down each side is 15.5 centimetres, and along the bottom it's 21 centimetres. So when you've done that, so you may not have one to cut out from, so you may wish to do it like mine. 16 centimetres at the top, 21 along the bottom, and 15.5 down each side. Now you're going to cut it out. Now I've just drawn my curve freehand, but you could go around a lid or something if you want to. And just cut that side out straight for now. And then fold it exactly in half. And then to make sure that you get your sides the same, you do it in half like this to make the curve. And there is your template piece. So now you're going to cut 2 out of your main fabric, 2 out of your lining fabric. Now that doesn't have to be shiny lining fabric, it can just be another cotton if you wish, or you could use something light like a viscose for the inside, but I would say use something stable for the outside. And then you're also going to need 2 pieces of interfacing, so just use scrap pieces if you've got those lying around. And we're going to interface the backs of the main fabric. So let's do that now. So here's my main fabric, and you can see I've pinned my template on like this, and I'm going to cut around that now. Now I've also cut out my lining pieces, exactly the same, like this. And I've also added a little piece like this because I'm going to show you how to do a little strap to one side on it for your wrist. So you do need to make sure that the amount you cut, you can get your wrist inside. Bear in mind some of this is going to be going into the seam, so you allow some to go into the seam of the purse, that you can slip your hand in and out with enough room. And how wide you do it is up to you, but I've done it so that it can be folded into the centre like this, and it can be folded again like this, and then stitched down both sides. So you don't need to interface that. So you may want to play around with a few pieces, see how long you want it, see how wide you want your strap to be for that part. Now you want to apply your interfacing to the back of your main pieces. So this is my main fabric I've got for this one, and I've popped my interfacing on the back. So this is iron on, but you can use sew on if you wish. I've found a zip. Now my zip is not a great match for this fabric, but this doesn't matter because it's just for me and I'm just showing you how to do it today. So if you're just making it for yourself, you may not mind if it's not a perfect colour combination. So this is sort of a burgundy red, and this has got purples in it, but not really this colour. It doesn't matter. I have got some zips this colour, but I want to save them for something else. So that's what I'm using today. So we've got all our pieces ready, and we're going to start off by putting the zip in. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. So change to your zipper foot. So position your zipper on the top right side of your purse piece like this. Now, if we're using a centimetre seam, you want the top of your zipper, this part here, this metal part, to be more than a centimetre away from that edge then, because when you sew along the top here, we don't want to be catching that in. So if you're using 1 centimetre seam, make sure that this is more than that away from the edge. So maybe 1.3, 1.4 away from that raw edge there. Then we're going to sew down that side of our zip. So the zip is face down and the fabric is right side up. So it's like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to attach the other side. So if you get both your pieces and put them right sides together like this, make sure that they're level here. You might want to put a pin in while you've got it like that. So you've got both your purse pieces together like this. Then flip it over. And now we're going to sew down this side of the zip. When you get so far, you want to move your pulley out of the way like this. So from the right side it looks like that, it looks like a butterfly. Okay, so now we're going to add our lining pieces. So if you turn it over, cut some of these loose threads out of the way. Take your lining pieces. So have a look at it, and if you think you want your lining the right way, like this, on the inside, so that, there, bring it down so you can see, this is the good side of your lining. So you want to flip that over, and we're going to be stitching it here on this side of the zip, so that when it's turned back on the inside of our purse, the seam is hidden like this. So make sure again that it's all lined up with your main purse fabric, and we're going to sew that again in place with the zipper foot. And ideally you want to stay in that same line of stitching that you've just made. Pull your zip pulley out of the way again. Then when that's turned to the wrong side, you've got that neat edge at the side of your zip on the inside, like this. So we're going to do the same on the other side. Take your pocket lining. That's my right side, look. So flip it over. Make sure it lines up. Put my pulley out of the way. Now what you're going to do is you're going to bring the two main sides together. So bring your zipper out of the way, sort of central-ish. Bring these two pieces together like this and make sure that they line up. So add a pin here. And then do the same with your lining pieces. Make sure that they're exactly lined up on either side. And we're going to stitch around the outer edge. Now you want to leave this here on the lining open so that we've got an opening. So we're going to stitch all around the outside edge with a 1 centimetre seam. And when you get to the lining part, you're going to leave an opening in the middle. About 4 or 5 centimetres. You need to be able to pull the purse through, so make sure that you'll be able to do it. So you might need a bigger opening for this, depends how big your hands are really. I'm going to sew right across the ends of the zip here, either side, so that's why you needed to make sure that your seam was away from the steel part here at the top of the zip. So it's up to you where you start. Make sure you get a nice curve when you're going around here. Stop and back tag at this point, and then restart again at the other side. Now take care when you're going over the zip part here, you may want to walk it over so you don't break your needle. Now if you're adding the wrist strap, you want to leave a small opening here, so back tack on either side of it for inserting your wrist strap in a moment. If you're not adding that, just carry on all the way around. I'm going to carry on for now, and I'll just open that up in a moment to show you if you want to add the wrist strap. So now this part here can be trimmed away. So that part of the zip, you may want to go over it a number of times to make sure that it doesn't come open. Now if you trim around your purse really neatly, then you can turn it to the other side. It's best to trim around it. Don't go too close to your stitches, it'll just give you a better curve. Now if you're making the wrist strap, take your piece of fabric, fold it into the centre from both sides, and then fold it again like this. We're now going to stitch down either side of that. You may want to press it before you begin to make it more accurate. Now you're going to take your little wrist strap and you're going to insert it in one side of your purse. So you, if you intended on doing this, will have left a gap already. I've not done this because I was showing you how to do it, whoops, if you didn't want to add a wrist strap. So I'm just going to release a few stitches like this to make my gap in the side. And then I'm going to pop it in. So I've folded it in half like this. Pop it in so that it's going to the right side of the fabric. Push it all the way in. Now which way you angle it will depend which way it's going to go on the outside, so whether it goes downwards or upwards. So if you want it pointing upwards, you need to make sure that you angle it that way. Now when you're happy with which way it's pointing, go over it at the sides again, back tack and make sure that it's secure and that you've closed up completely that hole that you made. Now when you've done that, we're going to pull it through to the right side. And you might want to just trim that away as well, so it's not bulky. You want to get your hand inside and smooth out those curves at the sides, like this. Smooth them out. And then this hole here on your lining, so smooth those curves out as well. You're just going to close that up now with some machine stitches. And then push that to the inside and straighten everything up. Now what I would also suggest at this point is, you can do this with your zipper foot on if you wish, or you can just do it with hand stitches from the inside, giving it a press and also top stitching in down close to the zip here from the outside, catching that lining on the inside, and stitch along here on both sides, or on the inside press it first and then hand stitch that down on the inside. That is just to stop your lining from bubbling up like that and getting caught in your zip when you open and close it. So give it a press now and we're all done. So here it is finished. You can add a little ribbon pulley to your zip if you want, just thread it through and knot it, give it a few stitches. Or you can buy special pulleys for the ends of zips. If you're making it for a gift and you want to make it something special, you can buy them with little themes on, if your fabric has a particular theme to it. Well, I hope you enjoyed sewing along with me. That was a really easy way of making a purse, so I hope you found that useful. I hope that was clear. Now I've done a few different ones and different sizes. These are ones I've made in the past, so this is the one from today with the wrist strap on. And then I've got a few different ones, so this one has swans, a little smaller, so they're all different sizes. Little dogs on. And most of these I've used recycled zips as well, so, and they're really good for using up little scraps of fabric. So here we are. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please let me know in the comments how you got on and if you made one. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and please leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.